All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us on the call. Minnesota State is at home this weekend to face Bemidji State, CCHA semifinals. Coach, chance to prepare this week for a team that knows how to win in the playoffs in Bemidji State. What does that schedule look like and the timeline for your team?
Yeah, it's the extra day of the week. I think want make sure we get enough rest. Make sure we're sharp enough at the same time. It's that time of year, so you got to listen to your players and listen to what they need and their brain, their body. So it's a little bit of influx with only a single game. That's part of the deal.
You broke it down a bit post game after both games in the last series, but there were some things you liked about the team, some things that you'd like to clean up. What are those things?
Well, I mean, we just got to figure out that whole 60 minutes. It's that time of year, and if you play 6 shifts or 20 shifts, you matter. So the value has got to be high for our team, and I think we've done a pretty good job with it. It's front page to back page, it's playoffs, so you can't really take your foot off the gas.
You get a chance to play at home again. How important is it when it comes playoff time to get that home ice advantage?
Yeah, I mean, it's so good to be here. The community, the whole background that we've got. I think your routine's pretty good when you're at home. At the same time, wonky week. It's spring break here, so there's a lot of that going on. But I think, we're excited about playing in front of Mankato as a whole and filling the place up and making it a home barn, and that's a advantage in the playoffs. And I think between the crowd and last change and doing some things, hopefully it's in our favor.
Open it up to some questions from the media here. I see Kevin Dudley has his arm raised.
Hey Luke, first game here where you're really playing for your season and in one of those single elimination type situations. Has there been any difference that you've noticed this week in the preparation with the guys given the stakes?
Yeah, I think once you found out your opponent, there's a little recalibration and focus about who's next. And I've liked. It was important that I thought we kept the routine here at the beginning of the week that gave us enough time to recover, but got after ourselves so we give you as on point for Saturday as possible. So I think the guys have had great focus. It's the weather's changed. A little bit of vitamin D outside is good for them. So making sure we've got enough on but off.
Yeah, Kevin, follow up.
What do you take away from the last series against Bemidji? Obviously, I'm sure you had a chance to watch them Sunday live. You've seen a lot of them. What are your thoughts on how they've kind of evolved throughout the season from when you played them earlier to what they've been the last few weeks here when you've seen quite a bit of them?
I think Bemidji's good. I mean, I don't think they're a 7 by any means. They've had some unfortunate between injury and just timing. They beat great teams. So the fact that they won isn't really I think a surprise marker on my side of it. They've got great balance. Scholl's been a star in the net, and at the same time, their special teams have done their job. So they're playing a good game right now.
Yeah, Jared.
Coach, having coached against Tom Serratori teams for the past couple of years, what do they generally do well time after time? What's kind of their bread and butter that you have to look out for this weekend?
I think Tom gets the last drop out of the dish rag of his guys. I think they're competitive. They come in packs. I think they've got enough skating on their team for sure that makes them deadly as far as transition and their ability to swarm up. At the same time, they've got enough stick to get after it and make those plays, and they're hungry on the net. So I just, he's a good coach, and they've got a good program going right now. And I can tell you that that their team, for me, is playing very good hockey.
And last one for me, special teams was huge for Bemidji State this weekend. I think they were 2 for 7 on the power play and 12 for 12 on the PK with a shorthanded goal. Talk about just the special teams matchup this weekend and what you guys can do to limit their red hot units.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to contribute to their offense if we can. you got to be aware. You got to be aware of the officials. You got to be aware of the temperature and the momentum and the sways of the game to make sure you're not feeling that fire. But they've executed. I would tell you, like both groups, their power play is executed. They scored a goal there just after the seconds after a power play as well. So I think they've just got a good mix of groups. They've got good movement. They deliver pucks, and then their kill was good with their pressure. So it's playoff time. So I'm expecting, I think, both teams to have their sharpness on both sides of that puck.
Back to Kevin.
With Bemidji, I know you probably at this point feel like you know all the teams in the conference pretty well, but out of all of them, is this one of the ones that you feel like you know the best? And do you think that there's a really good chance it's going to be a good hockey game, given the way three of them have gone this year, being so tight?
Yeah, and I think a little bit of almost evolution of two teams that you play there earlier in the year, and I can't say we're feeling each other out, but at the same time, like you're at that point, and now you play at the end of the year, you know each other, but there's different circumstances on the line, and now it's a one and done. So, I just think I think you're up for a whale of a game in so many ways, and we're gonna get their best, and they're gonna get our best.
Scott Nelson.
Luke, you touched a bit on it Friday night in the post game on Zach's performance, and then he went out and had another one on Saturday. A guy that probably hasn't seen the score sheet too much this weekend, but just talk about his game and what he brings day in day out to this team.
Yeah, Karaji is his consistency is probably his biggest attribute. Man, you can see the highlight game in the score sheet, but I don't know if you ever see a low light game. And there's so many contributions that don't get on the sheet. I'm not kidding when I joke he's the doctor because he fixes everybody's lines. He's got great legs and he's got a great demeanor. Like he's a proven winner. And the fortunate part for our timing of this right now, he's had a trend of playing great hockey in March, and here we are. So hopefully he keeps that rolling.
Coach, you have four guys that are up for big awards in the CCHA at the end. Can you touch on each of those four guys and what they mean to the team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you're saying defensive forward.
Yeah, Crash for defensive forward. Rhett Pitlick for forward of the year. Alex Tracy for goaltender of the year. And Evan Murr for defenseman of the year.
I guess that's about how much we talk about it. Honestly, it's all of those guys have had great years for us. We all, I think, understand what they mean night in, night out. It's hard to win without the goal line being taken care of in the net, and the next layer of importance probably that D, and then Pitt has been a great addition to our group. So. And Karaj is a defensive forward that just scored 5 goals, so it's part of the deal. I think they're unbelievable humans besides the players. So that part for us is, it takes a partner in Murr, it takes a defensive core and a play in front of Trace, and it takes line mates for Pitt. So I think when you get into individual accolades, it's probably the last thing that we talk about here.
Any other questions for Coach? All right, well, appreciate you joining us. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.